If you had to rate how the Hawkeyes did in the portal, excuse me, A through F, we'll go. What are you going with?
I would give it a B or perhaps a B plus.
Okay.
The reason is Iowa knew what they needed. They needed to fill gaps, defensive tackle. They get a good running back. Why is it not an A or an A minus? I'd love to see them get one of those 3 or 4 star edge rushers. So far, it's mostly just been interior defensive linemen as pass rushers. Although edge rushers, if you listen to the NIL marketplace, those guys can be very expensive. So there's some high bidders across the country. The question I'm going to have for Kirk Ferentz and the developmental staff is, this is a huge test in development. These aren't necessarily power conference to power conference transfers. You have mostly guys transferring up a level, but they're not necessarily guys like Mark Gronowski, who only had 1 more year. These are guys that not only are they transferring up a level, they also need a little bit of development. So I'm curious, this is a big test. How good is the long-term and short-term development of Iowa when it comes to those portal guys? Because they're good when it comes to, freshmen. You grab a freshman from a local high school like Solon or Mount Vernon and they turn into an All-American. How is that going to work when you grab a guy from North Dakota or from South Dakota?
I see what you mean. I, too, am going to stick around this B range because they got everything they needed right now. A punter, they needed. A kicker, they needed. They needed more D-line because of graduation and things of that nature. They needed more targets for wide receivers, and they got that. So they kind of had their checklist. They got that with guys who, like you kind of mentioned too, are going to need time to develop, but they have those guys. And the thing that I've learned too about some of those guys, I think of the stories of the Caden Weegens. They are so eager to play at this level. They want to be here. They want to be within this Iowa program. And I think you're going to see just how hard they're willing to work because of that.